What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Winning Wednesday. What's up, Marc? This is Dave Gleckner. That's Marc Tomasini. We are fourth and go, Philly 444, and so much more. Part of the Heat Ratio Sports Network. How you doing, brother? You're looking like I don't know, Kentucky Derby-ish. What you got?
Yeah,
Some horses going?
you know what? What up? What up? It's a so far winning Wednesday. I mean, we've had a pretty winning week. And I went for the look because I'm feeling like we're made in the shade right now. Things have changed in Phillies land. The Phillies are watchable again. And we got over the horizon and now brighter futures are ahead. And that's the hope that we keep riding this momentum train forward. 5 in a row, 4 with Rob Thompson as the manager. And so far so good. Knock on wood, but we're up 6-0 right now. Schwarber just gave us a little more insurance, so all good signs of things to come.
I love it, man. So let's start off with the obvious. Last week we were on the show. I said I could give Girardi maybe to the end of the month. Let's see what happens. You said it's sooner than that.
They had to be.
Dombrowski beat us all to the punch. They did
Yeah.
it the day after we were on the air.
Yep.
I couldn't believe they did it after an off day.
Yeah, after and all. Usually they do it on the off
day. Yeah, he was out for his jog on Friday morning. The off day was Thursday, and decided, yep, it's time. And I guess we all saw it last week. We talked about it. It's definitely obvious. It was definitely in front of everybody's eyes. This team needed more of a culture change, and it's freed them up. Now I get okay, it's the Angels. They were on the terrible losing streak, but man, did they win some games in some crazy fashion. Harper hitting the grand slam on Sunday, and then followed up with Stotts hitting the 3-runner, and then last night, the guy that hasn't let up a run in 40 innings, he was tied with the MLB record, comes in and goes bomb, and then Vierling puts one out. I mean, it feels good again. So I love that energy you're bringing. I feel this team is – so the word legit, I don't want to go too far yet, but I always felt this team was a playoff team. And what I'm watching over this past week, and it's a small sample size, reinforces that for me. I think they're good enough to be in the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You look at the NL and the way it is. I mean, look, the Mets got off to a good start, but, that train is kind of falling apart at the side. So, I definitely think playoffs it's what we all expected. Be honest. Like, we all expected this coming into the season that they're definitely a wild card, if not division winner. Like, that was the expectation when they made the moves that they did. It comes down. I mean, obviously, as we're talking about the Girardi firing, it needed to happen. And you and I touched on this last week. Was it all his fault? Absolutely not. The players get paid. The players got to play. And they were not holding up their end of the bargain. But you look at it, and we talked about his demeanor, his lack of energy. I think one of the last games in San Francisco, I think he was close to getting ejected, but didn't because they actually were able to overturn the play. And I remember listening to it on the radio as I was driving to a softball game and just saying, like, they were like, "Oh, Girardi's irate," and then whatever. With this move, I thought that they were going to bring somebody in. That's why, I mean, I still thought it was going to happen, and I was there, and I thought it had to be soon. But I just thought that they were going to bring somebody in. But honestly, you know what? I think, after hearing what Rob Thompson is about, he's a player's guy.
Yeah.
Two sides to him. They say, like, look, he talks to everybody. He's, he'll if somebody's like slumping, he's just going to pat them on the shoulder and be like, "You got this. Like, don't worry about it." And, he has good relationships. And it came out today, I think Castellanos says he's talked to Girardi twice since he's been here in Philadelphia. I mean, that's months. It just, and even I think yesterday I was reading about it. Marc Teixeira played for the Yankees when Girardi was manager, and Thompson was on his staff there. And Teixeira was like, "Oh, Thompson's great. Like, he'll come up to you. He'll do this. That's where I got the kind of guy that Thompson is." And then he goes, "To be honest, like Girardi, he's really intense and He's not really that kind of guy to just like strike up a conversation with you. And I was hearing some things, and it just seems like Girardi is just far removed from being a player. And everybody talks about, and we've all seen the videos of like he's almost like his body language is terrible, even on the bench. And
Yeah.
he's just in his book. Like, he's not a guy who's walking around talking to his players like, look, I know you got to pay attention to the game, but it just seemed like he kind of was in his own world. Not that like he was, and I really don't think that he was taking advantage of an opportunity. Like, he got a managing job again. Like, I don't think he was taking advantage, but I just don't think he was giving everything that he had. And I just don't think he was able to relate to players. So it's a move that had to happen. And like I said, was it all his fault? No. But you see that there's energy.
Yeah.
It's coming through. It's literally, if you watch post game live last night, it's coming through the walls. You could hear the players screaming and
Oh yeah, I mean they were interviewing Veerling in the locker room. It was
right,
and recording. The music was going.
Thompson, when he was, they do that. These press conferences at in their office, and you hear them blasting music in the back, and
it's great.
It sounds like they're having fun. It's just that switch that came on, and that's exactly what this team needed, because it was a waste.
Yeah, and it was, and it's funny. It had to happen, and I think when you look back on it, so what are they now? Are they 26 and 29?
They're 26 or 27 and 29. I think 26 and 29. And right
going
now,
into tonight, right?
Yep.
So, real back to when he was fired, 22, 29. So 51 games. They had 111 left. The longer they held on, the more they were going to come to an issue. And here's the part that probably makes this decision really tough is they did know the schedule was tough early on. They just rolled through Dodgers twice, Giants, Padres, Mets. They had played what was it, 12, 13 games?
Yeah.
4 series already this season. They knew they had it hard. So his decision was made with the thought of, if we're going to turn it around with someone new, I want to do it against the easier part of the schedule. And I respect that. Don't give the guy,
right. Don't feed the wolves. Right.
Yeah. And but also don't give Girardi get a couple wins and false hope. We already know what we got. Right. We already know that once we hit the hard stretch again, these guys aren't going to respond to somebody.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was afraid of, that they were going to wait too long to do it.
Yep. Because they might have got a little roll. But like you said, when you can't make that connection, that's all. Baseball is a funny sport, right? In basketball, you got to coach. In football, you got to coach. Not only the game, but the people, but the plays. You got to script. You got to adjust. Baseball's feel to me. Like, it's all being positive, keeping these guys loose, encouraging them, finding little things that they got to fix. But this is the most one-on-one you'll get out there, right? Batter versus pitcher. And these guys just got to figure it out. And if you're this tough, cold guy and you can't connect with people, you're not going to get your teams very far. Okay, you can get the Yankees to a World Series and win it. You have the best roster and salary, in the league. And you still got to get it done. I'm not saying that you still were a part of that. Absolutely. But you've seen his success other places, and it hasn't been good.
It was just, and everybody keeps saying it was just a vibe thing. It was just, it was just the energy that he didn't bring to this team. You just kind of need a guy who like has faith in you. You need a guy who's, going to get you guys going. And it just seemed like they lacked that. And it showed their at-bats, their movements, their lack of, their miscalculations, their plays. The manager was just his aura of, like, his lackadaisical aura just flushed into the players, and it just was like a cloud over their head. Because it really, in the grand scheme of things, I think it's safe to say that a manager in baseball has the least impact on a game.
Yeah, I agree. It's no doubt about it.
All the coaches and stuff like that. So it's not that they needed to do it. Like, this makes sense why they're winning these games, like you said. They came off the Angels, who they swept the Angels in tough fashion, who are on a 12, 13 game losing
streak. 13, yep.
And it's just you need that, like, it's literally the like the not AFib, but when they revive you, it literally just revived the team. And you know what? And these wins are happening because they're feeling it. They have something going on. Like it's literally now every at bat.
Yeah.
And it comes to, and again, this is something that we talked about before with Girardi. He said, well, it's so early in the season. You can't play like that. You want to do that in the first week, 2 weeks. Okay. Like I somewhat understand that. Not at the end of May, early June. You're still saying, well, it's a long season. Okay. You're a third of the way through the season and you're completely underachieving.
Yeah, and games in April count the same as games in September. So I hate when coaches say that, or managers. I'm with you. And I do agree that baseball, probably the manager / coach has the least impact from a planning perspective. These guys play every day, rolling out, but they have the most impact from a personality / morale perspective, in my opinion. Football players, you get a big hit, you're pumped, you're hyped, right? And guys pick each other up. You got 53 on the sideline, you got 100 coaches. There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
As a manager in baseball, you got to be approachable. You got to be a guy that can, give tips, give ideas, and be able to work with your guys. And if you can't do that and think it's just going to change because, they're in the cages doing something different, it's not going to work that way. I don't like to show up to work when I know my boss is going to be cold and I don't even want to talk to him,
Right.
And that's why the baseball, you're right. It has the least impact from a game planning perspective, but I think it just has the most impact. That's why, like Charlie Manuel, and we thought it all along the first time he was here in the first, like he was a dope. We're like, this guy can't even can't hold a conversation. But what we learned along the way was maybe he can't with the media, but he can one-on-one with me and you because he's talking baseball to the baseball guys, and they loved him. They loved him. Yeah. And then we loved him.
Right. I mean,
Nick Fergosi, or Jim Fergosi, right? Fergosi. He was the manager of the 93 team.
Yep.
Unbelievable. This guy was a clown half the places, but he let them drink and party and play poker and just be them.
Right.
Just be them. That's what baseball wants.
And exactly. It needs to be fun, and it looks like it's fun again. This team, like they're having fun again.
It does. It's fun to watch. Yes. Yeah, fun to watch. And like when you watch, and I think you started to say this, and I'll give you that. As soon as you turn it on now you're like, this is awesome. I just feel like they're gonna win. Like you're almost like tonight they're up 6-0. You're like, it's over.
Yeah.
Where if it was 6-0 with Girardi, I'd be like, oh, here we go.
Here we go.
I gotta hold my breath. Now I still hold my breath, and we can flip the script real fast.
Oh yeah.
This Knable scares that living shit out of me. I can't stand when this guy comes in the game. He walked 3 guys last night. This guy for a closer, he has no idea where he's throwing the ball. No fucking clue. And he got away with it a little bit at the end of the game, but I'm just like,
oh yeah.
If we can see it, I'm hoping the new manager can see it, because at this point, it's got to be Sir Anthony for me. It's got to be Sir Anthony.
Yes, 100%. Right? I mean, I think he's still going through the motions and he's still seeing what he has. I think he's just not ready to rock the boat. That's being hopeful.
Yeah,
I know they want.
Yep.
And I know they want Knable to be successful. They brought him in here to be the guy, but you can't walk the bases loaded in a 1-run game after you hit 2 home runs to take the lead, being down in a comeback like that. Like that's just deflating. And those were the losses that were happening when Girardi was here. So look, I tweeted out last night. I said, are we done with the Knable experiment?
It gotta be.
Are we done with this yet? We gotta be. And I'm hoping that he's just, figuring it in. But at some point, you got to make the switch. Honestly, if you flip those two, if you, pitch Sir Anthony in the closer role, Knable might be an okay setup guy. I mean, he's got good stuff. It's not like it just seems like when it comes to closing situations, he's just and the thing and what's really bothering me about him too. Look, if you're going to throw the ball over the strike zone, you're going to get beat that way. That's one thing. But when you're going away from 7, 8, 9 hitters and you're trying to get them on off speed, outside of the box type of stuff, it means you don't have confidence in your stuff right now. That's what I'm seeing. He's not going at 7, 8, 9 guys. Like you hurl it in. You don't put it right down the middle, but put it in the zone. And it's not everything is out in the way. I mean, it's like 4-pitch
Yeah,
walk.
but see, so I'm with you, but I don't think it's he doesn't have confidence and stuff. I think he has no idea where it's going. Like,
Yeah.
the guy just has no like JT won high and outside on.
I saw that. There were so many times high and then it's down
low and in, and that's how he got beat against Gavin Lux and the Dodgers. That's how he got beat against. He misses to the wrong spots, and I'm telling you, and I think you're exactly right. I think you hit this perfect note. I don't think he's the closer much longer, but I don't think Rob Thompson wants to take away the juju yet, right? We're sitting here like on a roll, about to get our 5th in a row, 6 overall, but 5th with him. That he's just like, look, I can't just do this yet. We're riding a high wave, but first blown save under his watch. I think that's the time.
That's a warning signal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless some reason he goes like 10 of 10 in his next 10, then okay,
right.
I can let you blow one, but
I mean, right now, hopefully, it's not a safe situation. Right now, it's up nothing. But next time, if you want to go for it again. Next time you're in a safe situation, throw him out there, see what happens. But if he's missing bad, you got to make the switch.
Now, let me ask you this about the lineup because I'm seeing a little more consistency, right? But it is Schwarber, Hoskins at the top. And for me, I'm still not sold on this Hoskins in the 2 role. You got a guy 205, Schwarber. You got a guy Hoskins 220. I get it. I'm okay with Schwarber at leadoff. I really am. I know that the average is a little bit,
his splits suggest that later in the season he's a good leadoff hitter.
I can live with Schwarber up there. I can't necessarily live like what does Hoskins do for me in the 2 spot? He's not a good base runner. He's not fast. So he doesn't hit situationally. He doesn't find holes. He's streaky. So what can he do for us when he gets hot? He hits homers. But do I need that out of 2 holes? So I'm still a little – I'm waiting. They need to find something naturally in that 2 spot. That's what I want to see.
I don't know if there is something natural right now.
It's bomb for me. I think it's if he's hitting well.
He's not power right now. It's not power.
It's okay. Out of the 2, right? That's okay. And he's a guy that sees the ball to the right side of the field. I know he hit a recent slump, but after the home run off Hader last night, I kind of believe that Bohm is a little more suited for the 2 hole. I'm telling you right now, if I was the manager, which I'm not, obviously, Hoskins be hitting 7 or 8. There's just no doubt in my mind.
I think that would be good for him.
Yeah.
His ego would probably take a shot at first.
I don't give 2.
No.
I hear you.
It probably would, but you know what? He'd probably benefit.
Yeah, but I mean, I could even live with Castellanos maybe in a 2 hole. Now I know he struggled a little bit this year, but still his numbers are better than Hoskins.
Right.
JT up top. I like JT. He's a great base runner too. I think you have some viable options.
I think JT and Castellanos and Bohm, all 3 of them, I think make sense in that 2 hole. Because Castellanos, remember, we all think of him as a power guy, but he does hit for average again. He's struggling this year, but last year he hit 309, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't strike out much. He puts the ball in play. Yeah. Yeah. Now let me ask you this, because here's the other last question about the Phillies that I'll ask you. Who's their center fielder? Because they just brought someone back who had a torrid spring. Moniak.
Really? Oh, Moniak. Yeah, I know.
He's back from injury.
I don't know. I don't know if they're outfielders on this team right now.
And then that would be interesting to say. Odubel hits a homer tonight. I mean, Moniak played last night.
Odubel is like a broken clock.
Yeah, I don't want him.
He's right twice a day.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I'm not. I'm no Odubel.
I will never sit here
and
out for him. He's gonna hit a home run every 100 at bats. Then
he'll flip it every 200 because I know, that the flies to the warning track get a flip once in a while too.
I mean, the thing with Thompson is he going to really give guys a chance? The young kids a chance. If that's the case, you got to throw Moniak out there for 3 weeks, live or die by that decision. Own it. Whatever happens, happens. but you need to figure out center field. You can't have this Odubel, Vierling, Moniak once in a while. Like, look, he's your number 1 overall pick. I know he hasn't shown greatness and he hasn't shown number 1 overall pick stuff, but you have to figure out what you have with him. Regardless.
That was my point. I think it's Mickey. And what did he have? He's on a little mini 3-game hit streak. He's
right.
He's someone who, like we said, he was barreling the ball in spring training, got an unfortunate injury, has had to work his way back here.
Right.
But, really, we finally thought that here's the guy, right? And this is, as bad as the farm system is, there's still some hope for Mickey Moniak. We've given up hope on some of the other guys and obviously traded them out. Like, what's the left hand? Who am I thinking about? The center fielder that we sent to the White Sox.
Easily.
Yeah, yep, exactly. And I mean, we figured them out, but I don't think we figured out Moniak yet. And I think there's still some value here. I don't need to see Odubel Herrera playing anytime. Like he can be my.
I don't care that he hit a home run tonight. Like obviously good for the team, but like he doesn't do anything for you. No. He's a bonehead. Like he makes the wrong play. And this isn't even talking about him off the field. This is talking about him on the field. And I felt this way about him for years, 6, 7, 8 years. Like he literally just makes the wrong play. He takes bad tracks to the ball. It's on at the plate and in the field. He's not disciplined at all. And he's never going to learn.
Yeah. And I don't need that on my team. I realize that he brings that spark once in a while, but the Phillies center fielders are still, I think, like 28th in baseball in batting average. Could even be 29th now out of 30 teams. That it's a terrible position. We talked about bullpen earlier, so I just wanted to, with the rise or return of Mickey Moniak, I'm hoping that we at least give it a shot. That's and then if not, like I think your point of he's not on the team, as in our center fielder, it really could be the answer because right now it's not Harper. Obviously, he'll never play there. It's not Castellanos. It's not Schwarber. So we got good corners, so they're good enough. We got to find the answer at center field. Have to. If this team wants to take that next step, they have to. So, all right, I lied. I got one more question for you.
Let's go.
Do they make the playoffs? I know it's only June, but, we're sitting here 55 games in, got about 100 left, and we've seen a little resurgence. The third wild card this year adds a little juice now. Do they make the playoffs?
I absolutely think they do. And even when they were playing bad, I still didn't waver off of that because I figured they have to figure out. They're too talented.
They really are.
To be this bad. Like, really, look, I mean, you look back at a couple of the seasons, like last year and the year before, the COVID year, like 2 of the worst statistical bullpens ever, because the amount of blown saves that they had between those 2 seasons, they could have been in the playoffs both of those years.
Yeah.
Easily. Like if they only blew half the amount of saves that they did, they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, crap. I think even last year they were only a couple games out of a playoff seed, weren't they?
Oh, because they lost the last series or 2 series right before that. They took it to like end of September.
But I mean, God knows how many they blew. But you say you don't blow 6 of those, you're in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to think.
So
that. So yes, I really do believe that they're good enough. I mean, you see Nola, he's been pitching pretty well. Wheeler's been good. Ranger Suarez has not had a great year, but he had a good game last night. Like,
definitely solid.
Look, everybody's playing their part, and I kind of liked. This kind of went under the radar. Happened a couple weeks ago, but they were able to sign Eflin, I think, to a year or 2 years. So as much as like you like to see when a guy is playing on his contract year, kind of nice that they do have him back as long as he stays pitching the way that he is. I think that was a good move by them just to lock him in, so he doesn't have that uncertainty and doubt. And
and it just gives him a little bit of
a boost.
Yeah, but also stability, a boost for sure. But like, okay, this team believes in me. So, all right, we look at it now. I think we can all agree Mets are going to make the playoffs. They'll find a way to choke.
Whether it's wild card or obviously the division's big, but I mean, Pete Alonso just hurt his hand.
He did get hit by that pitch.
Starling Marte, it needs to get an MRI. DeGrom and Scherzer have been out. So, like, look, they have a lot of issues, and
But they make
they're
it.
going to fall off a little bit. But
Yeah.
they're far enough along, and they are playing well enough. I mean, unless they completely collapse, they're at least in a wild card spot.
Yeah, well, they're in, and then let's give LA. They're just really good. And then you look at Milwaukee. I'll still give them in the Central. So 3 wild cards. The Braves are starting to tear it up, 7 in a row. You got San Diego, really good record, third best record in the NL. So I'll probably give Braves San Diego. So it'll be the Phillies battling with the Cardinals and Gabe.
Yeah.
I think they can do it. I do. I'm not sold on the Cardinals.
Right.
If you look at their differential, they are plus 44. That's great. They probably have a softer division, but I think the Giants are going to fall into some issues out there. Their lineup just does not wow me. I think they've really, I think they're going to struggle to really be able to pull that magic off that they had last year of that 105 win team. So
there's also one of the teams that you said, San Diego.
You don't trust them?
I don't. It depends. It's going to depend because Tatis isn't back, right?
He isn't back, and they're still 12 over 500, 34 and 22.
But the only thing is they blew it last year too. I'm not saying I don't think they collapsed as much as they did last year, but it's possible. You saw it happen last year. They definitely dropped the ball.
Yeah, they did. I just think they're just so talented, and I mean, even from a rotation,
I was surprised, right? Because
Darvish, Musgrove, I do like Minea. I think Blake Snell just came back. I think they're tough up and down that starting rotation. Then the lineup's good, so I have a little more faith in them.
I mean, as of right now, they're in the playoffs, obviously.
Oh, yeah. But I'm just saying, if we were able to pluck, I mean, you could say the Braves are a team that we could still pluck from. So maybe I'll roll them back into the equation. So give the Mets, Milwaukee, Dodgers, San Diego. Phillies then have a 2 out of 4 shot between the Braves, St. Louis, San Fran, and us. So, I mean, I'll give that because I think Arizona and Colorado's out. Pitt, Chicago, Cincy's out. Miami, Washington's out. So they're battling with 4 teams for 2 spots. 3 other teams. I think that's I'll take those odds.
I mean, if the way that they've been clawing, the way Nola just pitched a 8 inning 4-hit game or
like a masterpiece. Yep,
great game. If they can just keep this going and they just ride momentum, and honestly, I think there could be a move or 2 to make at the deadline. Yeah, I think sky's the limit for this team, and I think they get into a wild card spot. I really do.
Yeah, no, it is really awesome that we just have that energy back. Because I think we knew this team could be good, but we just were lacking that energy. So it's awesome to talk Phillies for the good first half hour of this show. Let's dive into the NBA Finals now. Transition over to basketball. It's been a crazy first 2 games. What I mean by that, Marc, how the hell did Boston pull that off in game 1?
Right.
Beating the Golden State Warriors. And I could be off by a point or 2, but it was like 40-16 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no, that's correct. It was 40-16.
Yeah, and it was 9 for 9 for threes in their first 9 shots at court. I watched that game, and then last game it was more of Golden State. Boston's up 2 at half, and Golden State does what they do in the third quarter and just pounded people. And then, Steph just made an N1 on a 3.
Yeah.
But, and then they just really they took the will out of Boston when it came to the fourth quarter. The turnovers were bad. And you just saw, I will tell you all honestly, I picked Golden State in 6 on a show last week, but I really do have some money in the end on Boston to win it all. So I kind of can see it going a few ways. But once Boston won game 1, I really think it's going to be hard for Golden State to come back and win the series. I almost want to revisit my expectations or prediction, but we'll see. I mean, Golden State is a hero on the road, just like Boston is.
Right.
Would you want to revisit your prediction, or are you still rolling with what I think you had the same as me?
I had the Celtics.
But you had them in 7, right?
Celtics in 7, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, Boston was up. Yeah, Boston was up. Yeah, I'm still sticking with it, and I don't. I'm not in love with saying that Boston's going to win the NBA Finals,
No.
but I think it's a real possibility. I mean, I think they're a better overall team 1 through 5 than the Warriors. And I think that's the difference here. I think, look, and it all depends on, the way that is Draymond allowed to play the way that he wants to play or not.
Oh,
That's
he's playing tackle football.
Right.
What the hell is that?
With it or does he not? That's going to be the difference.
Yeah.
Look, the Warriors are good, but they still don't have a download presence. And really, Boston didn't have it until, Horford came back to life.
Horford and Derek White. I mean, we're pulling names. Derek White didn't hit 5 threes in one regular season game and hit 5 or 6 in the first game of the playoff of the NBA Finals.
Right.
And they're doing all this without Tatum really cooking. I mean, he cooked a lot for 3.5.
He's been careless with the ball.
But he's been careless. Yep.
That's been kind of the thing. But it shows the Warriors, when they're defensively cooking, they're in this. Yeah. It all depends on what they're able to do physically.
Mm-hmm.
It's the physicality of the game.
So why is he getting an extra shot right now? Because they challenged it, maybe?
No, the Curry shot.
Yeah, and
one.
Yeah, was there a tech?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's right. He was standing by himself. There must have been a tech.
But they're getting the ball back.
Yeah, they did get the ball back. Yeah, I forgot. I'm a little bit ahead. So,
but here go the Warriors. What was it? 12.5 or 13? And they're only down 5. They are a third quarter. Like, they're just amazing in the third quarter. And it's coming. And the Heat did it against us when we played them. They just beat us every third quarter, all 5 or all 6 games.
Yeah.
Now it's a 2-point game, Otto Porter. But it's something to see when you have teams that are this just driven to make adjustments, come out and fight. I will tell you this. I love this NBA Finals. I'm so.
A lot of people don't. The ratings are not doing well, but I think it's a good matchup.
Yeah, I think why I love it is it's 2 teams that just play team basketball, right?
Yeah.
Boston Celtics, like the fact that you got all these guys out there, and Tatum goes 3 for like 18 in game 1, and you come out and win because they move the ball and play team basketball. Golden State wins game 2 because you got Poole actually showed up. They had really other. Oh, did he? I thought he got fouled. They had some other good guys that came in and played in. Klay Thompson did nothing, right? They left him in the game when they were up 35 just to try and get a rhythm, but I think he still shot 4 for 18. So it's been like why I love it is I just feel like it's a chess match, and that's awesome basketball. 2 teams that are just really different.
Yeah, they really are different. I mean, that's what's amazing about this. And you know what? One thing that I was thinking earlier is that the Warriors are able to get as much as they're getting with Porter and Wiggins, 2 guys who were supposed to be good and then kind of became bust and, are decent players for this team. They're role guys. They're good role guys.
And it was funny in game 1, I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Andre Iguodala was out there for like 15 minutes. I'm like, what were they? And they didn't sniff I don't even think they dressed him in game 2. Like, but you're right where I was getting at with Porter and they're viable, really good options for.
Right. I mean, Wiggins was an all-star starter this year, which made no damn sense to me. But yeah,
he's their shutdown player too.
Yeah.
Isn't he in defense?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's statistically been one of the best defenders, I think, and might be the best defender in the playoffs this year.
Yeah. Klay Thompson's actually been one of their worst players.
Right.
And they're still doing this. I mean,
it's tough. You don't want to completely go away from him because there's always the possibility of him being able to hit those shots. But Klay has not been the same, and I don't think he ever will be the same. It's unfortunate just to miss 2 years like that back to back.
No,
it's a lot to overcome, and like we talked about, the composure of the team changed.
Mm-hmm.
and it changed big time. Like it's it was not it's not the same team that he played on. And Steph kind of, I think, had to adjust. And I just don't think it's
Yeah,
time for Klay to adjust to it yet and coming off of injuries. So it's like a double, like 2 strikes against him. That's tough.
it is funny with Steph. He's been more volume than I really expected him to
Yeah.
be. But it has been because of a little bit of the lack of Klay, I think. And obviously Draymond is not Draymond, but it's also been a lack of Poole too. Like this guy came out of nowhere in the Memphis series, even before that Denver series is fantastic. But I think I'm not sure Golden State can pull this out playing the way that they have to play right now.
Right.
We need more people.
Yeah.
And Wiggins does need to show up. I mean, he's shown up on a lot of places, but he needs to show up a little bit more on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Because right now it's Steph or nothing.
Right. And it's hard. And as good as he is, when you look across the way, you got Horford, who's, been on the offensive side of the ball, let alone Tatum and Brown.
Yeah.
And you can keep going down the list, but just those 3 right there, they give you something. Marcus Smart is always, capable of just shooting the lights out from beyond the arc, like at any given time. You can also go cold, but it's definitely like a 3-on-1 when it comes to offense.
And then like you're looking at Steph and Klay tonight, 10 for 17 from 3. They have 49 to their 83. Outside of that, only other guy in double figures is Wiggins, but he's over 4 from 3. Like,
right.
They're going to need more. I mean, Poole has 5, Poole 6, Payton 2, Iguodala hasn't played a minute. Balika has 0. Like Draymond, obviously we're not, and Looney we're not, but it's But when you look at the other side, Boston has 4 guys in double digits, and I mean, White's right there with 7. He's on his way there. Like they just seem to be able to balance the floor more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's coaching. I think it's
a little bit, but Kerr's a great coach.
No, I know. I'm just saying the fact that he's got this Boston team.
I got you. Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying anything. I think Kerr is a great coach. I mean, I think, when he first came to this team, he saw the potential there, what they had, and the way that he got his players to all buy in on moving without the ball.
Yes.
That's, I think, changed the way that the game is played now. Obviously, it helps when you have Steph Curry who can shoot, but he also Steph doesn't just like stand at the line and say, "Hey, give me the ball." Like, I'm going to run off the screen. I'm going to set this guy up. Like, he's not completely selfish. So, that I'm not saying anything bad about Steph's coaching. I'm just saying, like, for this Boston Celtics team to be where they were in January to where they are now, to playing the way they are, to be getting the most out of Al Horford, because we saw firsthand that he was nothing. And, that's what good coaching does. And, it goes back to where we're at. And I don't think we have that. And we let it go.
Yeah. I mean, I was still thinking they were going to go and pull over a retread in D'Antoni, but I mean, I get, and, Doc's the guy. 1 more year, we'll figure it out. But I'm not overly excited about our prospects.
You can't be. I mean, they have to make a big move this summer, some way, somehow.
Yeah.
They got to switch it up. If they pull up with the same team, I'll watch, but second round and out. I mean, just it's the prediction I would give because that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. So, last thing on the NBA Finals. Boston is 7 still?
Boston 7 still.
Yeah. I think if you get this team to a Game 7, they've already played 2 Game 7s, I would favor Boston. I don't care where the game's at. I really would.
They look like they're battle tested. They look like they're ready for it.
Yeah, I think Golden State's got to get it done way sooner than that. I agree with you there. Talking about that, looking at the Sixers, not a lot coming out. I mean, we talked about it already. Brooklyn has deferred the 23rd pick back to the Sixers. They'll wait till next year. Not a lot of news coming out of Sixers camp, so we'll just monitor that as we move forward here. But
did we discuss that the Bulls are interested in Matisse?
You know what? We did not yet, but I have seen the reports out there. And let me just be the first to say, I'm in. I'm done with Matisse. And I'm not. I held on to him in the Brooklyn trade because I thought he was just so important to us to be able to play at defense. But we still, he's just such a liability. I'm done.
You know me. I'm a huge Matisse fan.
Yep.
I don't want to do it just to get rid of him.
No, I agree with
that. And I don't think that would be the case. I think Morey would be smarter than that. Maybe he might have to be. Oh, there's another thing that we could talk about. He'd have to be a caveat in a deal.
Well, the Bulls were one of the worst defensive teams in like the history.
Right. He can be valuable. You know, I mean, if they have a team of.
He can't do anything else, though, right? He can hit a corner three.
Right.
He can make a dunk. He can't dribble. He can't do a lot. Like, I've seen enough.
That's why I'm okay now. That's why I can get through it. You know,
what can we get? Caruso? Nah.
I mean, I'm not a fan of Caruso just because LeBron hyped him up, but
yeah,
he would actually be a good player, like to get back in return. I think
they gave him a lot. That's the only reason I thought that he could be one of the pieces they dangle for us.
I think he would be added into a deal.
Yeah.
There has been talks, and it actually was from somebody out in Utah. Obviously, there's a lot going on, and I think this summer is going to be another interesting summer about Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell wants out. He's got 3 years left on his deal, and I think there's a team option or a player option, but potentially 4 years of Donovan Mitchell. And I think I might have brought this name up a couple weeks ago, but this guy put it out there. Now, he was a little incorrect because he put the trade package as Tobias, Matisse, I think Maxey.
I can't.
A first and a second, but the first you can't because they got deferred to this year, so it's at 24. I have to see, was both Maxey and
double check, and I'll report to you back on this. Here's my problem with Mitchell. He is a high volume, low assist player, needs the ball in his hands. I think we got one of those already, even though I'll say Harden has more assists in him. But, like, how does that, like – I'll take Mitchell if there's no Harden. I just don't know if I can take Mitchell and Harden. You know what I mean?
I get that, but I think you almost got to just try and figure it out some way.
I got to figure it out for Beal. I got to figure it out for some guys that are a little better off the ball. Like, Mitchell needs the ball. And if I'm like Maxey shot 43% from three this year, I feel like if Mitchell's not your ball dominant player, he becomes your off ball three shooter. He's not going to shoot better than 43%. So I can't do it with Maxey's. If Maxey's in the deal, I can't.
I mean, the one thing that,
but I agree, he's on the market because especially with Quinn Snyder deciding he's out.
Right. And I think that really bothered him. I think he's definitely going to get his way out of there.
Yeah, well, and it can't be Gobert and Mitchell again. They hate each other. They just can't go. Like, it's the same thing that I said last year. Why in the world would Portland ever let Lillard come back to that team knowing it was bound for just another shitty year?
Yeah.
And they're just – Lillard is stuck. And it sucks because they could have got Simmons and just tried to rebound with a younger player. But instead, they just sat there and killed Lillard and killed his value. And this guy is going to be the Mike Trout of baseball, of basketball. I'm sorry. Like it's just bad. So, but I do think there's value in Spider. How, man?
I mean, I'm just saying if that's the only option to change it up, I think that's the route you go.
Yeah, I think.
It is Harris, Maxey, Thibault, a first and a second.
I'm out. Now, like, would you do it? And I wasn't saying I'm out.
I think I'd really be thinking hard on it, but I really think you have to figure it out. Look, I love Maxey.
What's your starting lineup? Harden, Mitchell, Embiid, and Bums?
Well, if you can
Yang Green, like
you relieve some of that money. So if you I mean, you're not losing much when you take off Maxey and Thibault off your books. I'm just trying to think.
I there's no squad anymore.
I know.
I mean, I get you free up a little bit of dollars maybe to bring back minimums, but like let's be honest. I will tell you this. I think Toby's out with 99% confidence. I really do. I think he's gone. And I think he increased his value with how well he played in the playoffs.
Yes, he did.
So I'm okay. I'm okay. Like, Tobe, I thought I got mad respect for you. Like, look, I was a little down on you sometimes, but I thought the last month of the season plus the playoffs, you were like second, third best player on this team. Like, I'm good, man. Like,
realistically, I think that any Toby deal is Matisse is a sweetener, and we actually get something decent in return. And I think
and even if you don't, right, you can free up salary.
Yeah.
So there's a few ways to look.
And then you can go get a power forward, a stretch four, can play alongside Embiid.
Yep.
You figure out your other issues that way, even if it's a Maxey Harden. You get,
Just don't know if it's I don't know if we'll ever see Beal. I don't know if we will. That's another one that's unfortunate because Washington ain't winning anytime soon.
I think that's still a possibility.
Oh, it's a possibility. Don't get me wrong. And there was a clip I saw him coaching the AAU team over the weekend. It was awesome. Like, he's like, you guys aren't shit. Like, and I just love his fire, his passion, and the guy would fit right in here. But they're going to need to do something. I do think there's a major shakeup coming. Like, I do, and I think it's all revolved around. I don't know if you'll get 1-for-1 for Toby. I think you might have to move him out to free up salary to then try and do a signing. Yeah. Kind of like when Jimmy went, right?
Right.
So. But good stuff with the Sixers in the NBA Finals. Real quick, this Eagles are in OTAs. Not a lot of heat coming around, but there was one little thing that I thought that was interesting. And you might have picked up on one too, but let's talk about this one. I mean, my man AJ Brown, it just seems to really be like just one of those teammates that people are just going to just flock to. I think that they're all going to love him, but he is in love with Devontae Smith right now. Yeah. He's calling him the number one. He's saying that this guy is special. And when you know that someone like AJ Brown is saying that, because AJ Brown is special in himself and already shown he's the number one in this league, a top 10 receiver, and he's pointing out how good 6 is. I mean, that was pretty cool, I thought, coming out of OTAs. I won't get into too much of Sirianni talk because I'm not into plants growing out of the pots, but I thought that's one of the coolest things coming out, that he's wowed by how good 6 is.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. I just hope he's not just trying to do that just to like win over the teammates.
Right.
I don't think he has to do it. He really doesn't have to. But I think the thing with Devontae is because Jalen Hurts is the quarterback and because they didn't really have the spacing, in quotes, to do it, you really didn't get to see all of what he can be. You didn't get to see that. And, if that's real, if he's saying that in all honesty, then this 1-2 punch, I mean, is going to be something, even with Hurts as the quarterback, because teams will not be able to shut down both.
No, I agree with you. And I mean, Hurts hit a home run in the celebrity softball game the other day. Walk off. It looked like the worst swing. You're a softball player.
Yep.
Or the fences, 200 feet.
That one, I think I play on bigger fences than they play.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at.
I was going to say, I hit a triple to the wall.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about a few prospects that's going on with the Eagles. Obviously, like, they're saying the right things. They're doing the right things.
A lot of camaraderie. I think like the Devontae's tournament, I mean, half the team was there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Maddox, Hurts, Brown, Smith. I mean,
if Wentz was still the quarterback. nobody would be there. Like, or at least not the important people. Like,
Right.
that's the good part, right?
Right.
They all feel like they're together. You're wearing the party suit, and I know it. Like, I feel good about this team, don't you?
I do. I mean, like I said, I still have my doubts about the quarterback, but honestly,
They can win 12 with him.
even with his play and the way he is, if he's maybe just a touch better than last year, I think they're still a playoff team, like actually a legit playoff team, not a, we beat nobody to get there. We just happen to luck our way into it. I really think that, they'll figure it out some way, somehow, because you have too many weapons now. You can't. Things have to open up. The field has to open up. And hopefully, if Hurts is this resilient guy that, he's known to be, and he's a hard worker, if you hear Tampa Bay's defensive coordinator saying, like, we literally had him confused, and I hope he was in his books and he figured it out and he worked on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's look at it realistically, real fast while we're on the NFL. I'd say 4 teams are better than the Eagles, like, no doubt about it. And I'll tell you right now, in the NFC, Rams, I'll give you the Rams, right? I'm still going to give you the Bucks, and I'm going to give you the Packers, as long as A-Rod's still there. And then, I'm still convinced deep down inside the Niners are. Niners made it to they got to the NFC Championship, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, because they beat Green Bay in the divisional. So those are 4. I'm not telling you the Cowboys are. Remember, I've left that team.
No.
I'm not convinced. And I'm not telling you, another team over in the AFC South. The Saints, no. Panthers, no. Falcons, no. Nobody in the North. And, the only other team you could maybe buy me on, maybe, and I'm not even getting there, is Arizona. But I'm not, because I'm not a Kyler Murray guy. So I got the Eagles right there at 5. And at 5, that's comfortable when you get 7 teams in the playoffs right now. So I'm with you. I think they're, even with the lack of arm strength and quarterback, I think they're 11, like, solid, 10 solid, 11 very possible. 12 even is the limit. Like, I think they're good, man.
Yeah, I do too. I really
I think they're well-rounded. Defensive line got fixed. Linebackers got fixed. Backfield is pretty solid. Safeties, I still question a little bit.
But
yeah.
If those are your only questions, your only true questions, you did a lot.
The offensive line is, full gas. Tight ends doubled up. Like, it's in receivers. Running backs are no problem. Like, yeah, I'm there, man. Yeah. So it's exciting. It's exciting times. We're July's coming up for training camp. Obviously, we got August then with some preseason. This year is a good thing. 9 home games for the Eagles out of the 17. So we'll get into that and a lot more. Real quick, have you been watching any of the NHL playoffs?
A little bit.
It's been kind of fire, man. I know. Avalanche are already there. They're going to be waiting. And the only question I wanted to ask you with the NHL playoffs is, I mean, the Rangers Lightning series kind of fire, both, 2-2 right now.
Yep.
Rangers, I want to say they gave away game 3. They really did. Yeah. But, man, when Tampa is on, Kucherov made this touch pass to Palat, and it was just and then they win game 4, and it's a 3-game series now. The only thing I want to ask you is, Avalanche are so good. They're so good. Them having a week and a half off between that and the finals, is that going to hurt them?
That might. I think it makes it more of a series because I think Avalanche are the better team, regardless of who they play, whether it's the Rangers or the Lightning. But that dull downtime,
tough.
Affect them in sports. Most of the time, it affects you. And hockey is definitely a momentum sport. And to slow that down, and if this is, especially if this goes 7, yes, will the Lightning or Rangers be tired? Sure, but they'll also be riding momentum. Hockey is a huge momentum sport. I think the Lightning pull it out. I think they've been there so many times. I think the Rangers are further ahead in their process than they thought that they were going to be. They are. They have good players. They turned it around quick. like good for them, even though I'm a Rangers fan the least bit. But the Lightning are just, I think they're ready. I think they're
I think they fixed it. I think that game 3 when they were down 2-0 early and then ended up winning 3-2 was huge. Vasilevsky, that's the key right there, right? He was off in games 1 and 2, and that went to they swept the Panthers.
right.
And then they're sitting there for about 8 days until the Rangers finally get through Carolina in 7.
Right. So they dealt with a little bit of.
That's why I worry about Colorado a little bit. I'm going to look in the betting market. Yeah, I think game 1 is a very possible, surprise game for whoever comes out of the East. So that's something I'm going to look into. But I've loved these last few series. I'm loving this one. Hey, one little thing I wanted to talk about with you as we touch the 4for4 plus more. A lot of things going on in the golf world. The LIV, the Live.
It came up quick to me. Like it all of a sudden, before you know it, there's this whole thing, this whole other Saudi worldly.
It's crazy, man. Their first tournament is this weekend in London. U.S. Open next weekend. Obviously, Father's Day weekend. They teed up. They're up in the club up in Massachusetts. But I really want to ask you this. Huge names have just resigned from the PGA Tour. Dustin Johnson, one of our favorites. Now the news coming out, Bryson DeChambeau. I don't care about there's other Europeans, Sergio and them. But when you get those guys, and even Patrick Reed, it's something that you got to start taking into account. And then Phil Mickelson is probably the cherry on top. We kind of knew where that was going. I ask you this. They're dangling a ton of money to these guys. There's 48 that teed up this week. That's a lot of money to take, but for an uncertainty. If you're like, is it a gamble or is this something you would really consider? You're talking like for some of these guys, they're almost guaranteeing hundreds of millions for them to go play in this league that is really unsubstantiated, has no TV contract, has no majors, has no affiliation with anyone. The guys that are going are doing it for the money to help their families long term. But the stability's not there. Is that something you would risk?
To me, no. I actually don't think I would. Another name that joined, I think, is Ricky Fowler.
Did Ricky choose?
I saw something earlier.
He's a bum anyway, so it's fine.
It has been reported that DeChambeau, Fowler, and Patrick Reed are expected to join the Live Golf Series.
Good. I'm glad Ricky did because I'm tired of him. So that's fine. Go.
So I get the money's more. I get you're pretty much getting a contract.
Yep.
To go play golf, which is that's cool and all, but like, what if there's a turn in the world? What if there's another, because who knows? There's something every day now, another pandemic. What if money runs out? What if, depends. What are these people who are funding this? Where does their money come from? I know they have rich money, but like, where does their money come from? Can that money shorten up? Like the PGA is the PGA. There's a reason why. There's a staple to it. Like, as much as like I would, if you throw that money in front of me, I'd be like, wow, that's so much money. But if I'm confident in my abilities as a golfer, and like you grow up wanting to be in the PGA, all of a sudden
and you're compete. Now and compete. That's a key word,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're competing like in these team events against 48 people. Just money, and you're not even on TV.
It's just stupid money. It's just stupid money.
It's stupid money. That's all it is, which it almost feels like monopoly money. And good. That's what you want. But in the end, if I'm the PGA Tour, these assholes are not welcome back. I'm telling you, Bryson DeChambeau can go, do whatever he wants. He can go finalize his swing, figure it out. European Tour, bud. When this LIV falls apart, like, do not let these guys back. I'm telling you, do not. Greed doesn't win.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is pure greed. These guys made their lives and their money being in front of cameras, getting sponsorship deals. There's no cameras, there's no fans, there's no nothing. All it is this gas money, this oil money.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. I know right now the gas companies are lighting it up,
Oh yeah.
taking so much money from us at $5 a gallon, but that money could run out. Things could go bad. I agree. I don't think the stability is there.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, that's been the news of the week. It's been a lot of talk and it's fun. And you know what? Canadian Open this week, US Open next week. Golf is in the news. And you know what? Even though probably PGA is not happy with a lot of the guys doing what they need to do, they're fine. They're going to be just fine.
Fine.
And this live golf can go do what they want, and it's gonna be interesting. But we'll see. I can't wait to talk US Open next week. But Marc, man, I thought we were gonna go like 40 minutes tonight.
Yeah,
we went over an hour because there's just too
much
to do, man. And it's awesome. It's awesome talking sports with you every Wednesday here on Heat Ratio Sports Network. We are Philly 4-for-4 plus so much more. 4th and go. We won tonight, so it's a winning Wednesday. Marc, you got anything for the boys, for the fans, for anyone?
For the fans, just keep on hitting. Everybody hits. Woo, right?
It's hitting season, babe. Everyone hits. Until next week, we are Dave Gleckner. That's Marc Tomasini. We're deuces. Until next Wednesday. Follow us on Twitter